Hi, this is Kim Pinkney and welcome to my channel. Well, this is our day 3 of working on this Harley Quinn spray paint t-shirt. This is as far as I've gotten on the bus as far as painting and creating, and then seeing how everything is off of the hoop. I noticed that this head is way too big. And I like this size. This is a decent size. But then again, I think I'm going to set it up so that this is like a brick wall or something in between. I don't know. I'm not that fond of this face, so I'll probably end up painting over it. The paint covers pretty well, so I'm not so worried about making so many mistakes. I don't know. I've just got to figure it out once I take another look at this and spread it out and see how I can make chicken soup out of chicken crap. Sorry, I don't have a lot of space here to work. I've got crap all around me. Not very conducive to what I'm trying to do here. But basically, I was painting this white, and then I'm going to go ahead and give it like one final coat so you don't see any purple in the nose. I don't know if you can see it. My lights are pretty hot, but you can see how like some of the shirt is peeping underneath the white. I kind of want to get rid of that because this part is pretty solid, and once I cover that with like some blue or grays to try to get Joker's tone, this will have an off color to this. So I want to be more consistent. I did like how the teeth came out. Yeah, the purple peeps out just a smidge, but it's solid and it doesn't have any texture to it. So I'm like, yay, yay me, for doing that on the bus and jostled and all over the place and bouncing around and everything. Not bad, not bad. I also am liking how the spray paint can came out. It's not as vibrant as I'd like it to be. This is using the fabric paint markers that are for light and dark fabrics. Yeah, it works on dark fabrics, but it's pretty dull on dark fabrics like this. It kind of looks kind of vibrant on screen because I got a lot of lights on it, but when I really look at it, it's pretty dull. It could be more vibrant. And I think, I mean, it works for what it does, but I kind of want it to stand out just a little bit more. So I might be going back over that with white, or I might just go around the edges with white, just to kind of make it come out a little bit more. Or even go around the edges here of the red, cover that up with white, and then just go back over it with red. Or maybe, since this does put a little bit of a coat on here, I could just straight up paint with my fabric paints over this to see how that turns out. I started this morning adding white to the hand here so I could do the flesh tone, and just for giggles, I kind of want to see what the flesh tone looks like and how it would turn out on here if I was just going to go straight on it. It'll help me determine whether or not I really need to throw down more white paint and then do that colored coat, or if I'm cool with what I've got right here. So give me one quick second. I'm going to see if I can find one of the colors I would use or could use. Let's see, this one here is tangerine. That's too orange. Let's see. Where is... this will work. Okay. This is apricot, but I think this might be my dried out one. This is kind of close to a flesh tone. And now I don't have anything really under it, so let me see. And I really want to keep Harley Quinn kind of pale. She does have the kind of Joker tone that he has. So, and that's one of the mistakes I had made on one of my shirts, is that I did this really gorgeous Harley Quinn picture but her skin was more flesh tone than it should have been. She should have been pale like in the comic books and not flesh tone. Okay, so I'm adding a little bit of the orange, or rather apricot, just to see how it looks and whether or not I need to add more white. Okay, so that's what it looks like close up. Now on my end, it looks really super dull. Let me see. And if I put it on an area that has a little bit more white to it, that's still kind of a dull tone. So yeah, I'm going to add another coat of white on here just so that it overcomes the purple on here, make a better base. And then I'll probably just use basic blues and grays for her tone. I mean, I think with a lot of the versions of Harley that I've seen, she's got just the pastiness on her face and not necessarily on her whole body. I don't know. It just, I guess it depends on the picture that I use. Okay, so yeah, I think I just need to add another layer of white. Okay, but today I have this idea of doing a Joker symbol of some sort. I found this jester looking thing. It's I think it's made of pewter. And it's on like a stick or something like that. And I thought it was the cutest thing. I'm like, oh, I need to give this like the Joker, you know, give it more of that Joker look. It's black and white, and it's got this weird symbol of a circle on it, on its forehead. So I'm going to take it at an angle. This is the right sleeve, I believe. This is on the Joker side. And how he's got his face at the 3/4 on that side. I'm going to have his this little symbol 3/4, kind of like what he's looking like right now. I'm going to have like one big eye socket, and I'm using yellow this time instead of white because my white's so flaky every time I try to use it. And then on the other side, I'm going to make his eyes smaller, like he's doing the, this is down, this is, you know, like this is the surprise, or like a side eye type of thing. And then I'm going to give it the, and it's pretty much a skull, very pointed skull. In the picture that I'm looking at, it's like straight on, so I'm changing it to the side view here and just trying to do something similar to it. And with the symbol here, it's in a circle, but I'm going to do it more in a heart shape. Let's see, so it has like this weird swirl, and I'll just do this sort of thing. And that's on its forehead, and then it has the jester spiky type things here. Let me bring this up. I don't want to encroach into the rest of the shirt. I want it to just kind of be its own thing. And then I'll just have that big Joker smile. It's lots of teeth. An ungodly rows of teeth. And then that giant chin. I'll make this eye a little smaller, look a little bit more menacing, and then This needs to come up a little bit more, still be a little menacing. Got the nostrils. I don't know how well you guys can see it with this, but when I start to outline it, it'll probably make a lot more sense. Throw his teeth out here. This is his jaw. And I'll just press harder once I'm more confident with my line. You know, back in the 80s, 90s, there was a character called Evil Ernie. And in his comic book, he was like a spawn-off from, I think, Lady Death or something like that. And never really got into him, but he had this skull or something like that symbol. It's like a happy face, but it had these really menacing rows of teeth. It was just like awesome. It's kind of like a Scott McFarlane type of thing where the teeth are just crazy. And I always loved that. I was like, oh, I've got to do this symbol. Thing is badass. Okay, so this one has, let me bring this down a little bit. It has like really sharp teeth. Let's see, do they meet? No, they don't, not really. Okay, so, but I want to give it like super huge, lots of teeth. Make my lines like really bold so that when I go to paint them, I know where to leave it like t-shirt color. There we go. We'll give it like eyebrow bone here. And then on the very ends, there's like these little skulls that have like little spikes on them. Let's see. I'll probably put a little bit more detail in that once once I go to outline it. And it wouldn't be complete without ha ha ha's all over the place too. It should say like, let's make whoopee on there. I was on my friend's Facebook and he was talking about the dating game back in the 70s, and their term for having sex was making whoopee. Not dating game, I'm sorry. It was the newlywed game. That might be before a lot of folks' time. But when I was a kid and I would see the newlywed game, they always said making whoopee. When you and your fiance or wife make whoopee, and it would be like these weird questions, and I think they newlyweds had to guess the correct answer or the most popular answer, kind of like Family Feud. And when I was a kid, nobody explained to me what this making whoopee was. They never said, oh, you know, making love or having sex or, you know, the first, you know, thing, you know. They never mentioned it. They kind of kept it clean for TV. And so, you know, when you're left to your own devices and you don't want to play yourself in front of an adult and ask them, hey, what does making whoopee mean? uh, and you know that they're probably not going to give you the straightest answer. So it's like you kind of come to conclusions on your own. And, I wasn't sure if any of my friends really watched, the Newlywed Game either. Stupid kid. I was watching it. It would come on in the afternoon, too. And it's like, that's prime cartoon time or whatever. Like right when the cartoons go off and there's nothing else better to watch. It's like, oh, we'll watch this. Everybody seems to be laughing, so I'll just, watch it for a while until something else like Dukes of Hazzard or Hee Haw or something crazy came on. So, I always thought that making whoopee, when they mentioned it, was you go on your honeymoon, because I always thought a honeymoon was just like a fun time together. They always made such a big deal about it. And I was like, oh, well, they must be doing fun things. And the way the guy would say, making whoopee, things like that. I'm like, well, that must be like jumping on a trampoline, like when you jump on a bed and you go, whoopee, this is fun. It's like, that's what I thought making whoopee was. And, when you're a kid and you hear the word whoopee, it's always someone jumping and they're having a good old time. So I'm thinking this newlywed couple is in a wedding, their hotel room, jumping on a trampoline-like bed all night long, mind you, and saying whoopee, yelling whoopee because it's so much fun. And I'm like, you know what? It must be awesome getting married. And I think that's why I watched the Newlywed Game, because I didn't know that it meant having sex. Boy, was I disappointed when I found out. Or finally came to my conclusion that, making whoopee wasn't what I thought it was. I'm like, man, adults are boring. But I in my mind, I kept thinking, these people, these contestants, it must have been awesome getting married. They always look so happy. And I was like, wow, yeah, that's what I want to do. And boy, was I disappointed. Oh man, I'm like, they lied to me. So cruel. Anyway, that's my stupid childhood. There's a lot of things that weren't explained that, and then they didn't have the warnings that say this is not for kids, or parents' supervision or guidance suggested or anything like that. They didn't have that. They just went on out and said it. Same thing with, what was it called? Hollywood Squares back in the day. Paul Lynde was so damn funny. I watched on YouTube like a whole bunch of Paul Lynde jokes. They would ask him a randy question, or they'd ask him a normal question, and he'd just make it nasty. But I didn't know it was nasty back in the day. 70s childhood. But, yeah. We had the A-Team. We had Battlestar Galactica. Everything that you could probably make a toy out of. Knight Rider. Hee Haw. And I didn't realize that Hee Haw and what was it called? Dukes of Hazzard. When I was a kid, I didn't care that it was like country music. It was just on, and it was, cool. All the kids liked the Dukes of Hazzard. Didn't think about the General Lee being like, having the Confederate flag being like racist, because we didn't see the Duke boys like that. They were them Dukes. They were like the neighborhood black people. They weren't liked. They weren't trusted. And they made the property values go down. Or I don't know if that was Boss Hogg that made that happen. But at the end of every episode, they always seem to kidnap a country singer, and hold them hostage. And the Dukes would try to save them, or and they'd have a fun concert, and then they'd let them go, or something like that. I don't know. It was a very strange show. That's where the Daisy Dukes came from. I know now it's really dating myself, but they made that show kind of made the cutoff shorts even more popular than they were. In the 70s, 60s, cutoff shorts were popular, but they were made even more popular by Daisy, because she wore them all the time. It could have been winter and she was wearing them. It just, like, she didn't own another pair. If she went through her drawer, that's probably all she had. High heel shoes, and Daisy Duke shorts. I don't think she wore anything else. I think maybe one episode she might have worn a dress, but I can't. I struggle to remember what episode that was. And she tried to date one of the dumb sheriffs or something like that, or deputies. I don't know. But when I was a kid, it was a fun ride. Let's see. Yeah, dating game, making whoopee. If only. I don't know if they did have something like that nowadays. If that exactly was what making whoopee was, which it isn't. But if it was, I think that would have been cool as hell. It's like, okay, you just got married, you went through all the crap that you had to go through, you said your vows, you had the reception and all that stuff, you hopped on a plane to wherever, and now you get to relax and make whoopee, which is jumping up and down and just blowing off steam. That would have been awesome. But no. Now, adults ruin everything. Did what? Yeah, I didn't have sex education at that time, so I didn't know what making whoopee was. Or if I did know what making whoopee was, I learned a lot of it from watching HBO after midnight or something like that. There was also, like, on HBO, they had this thing where it was called Jazzercise, and I'm like, how and it's just women wearing, like, exercise clothes, and I thought it was the dumbest thing, because it would be coming on in the middle of the night, mid-afternoon, and it's like, what person in their right mind is going to be just jumping up and doing these random exercises? And it took me forever to realize this wasn't for us. These exercises were for people who wanted to watch women in at all angles, lifting their legs up and sweating. And I was like, oh, I get it now. I seen a manual. I know what this means. Yeah, that was one of those shows that they had on HBO, movies, after dark, God, a long time, after midnight or 10 or 11 or something like that. I can't remember. It was really super late, and I should have been in bed. But they would show, like, dirty movies and stuff like that. Adult movies, sorry. And so that's where I got a lot of my sex education. I'm like, okay. I saw some really interesting movies, like a guy with 3 balls. And he was going at it all the time. They didn't show the sex explicitly. I think it was more of a comedy type of thing. He became, I guess, a famous porn star. And in his mansion, he had a symbol of 3 balls, 3 scrotum. I can't remember how it ended. I think he ended happy. I don't know. As I guess any guy with 3 testicles. I don't know. They had some weird movies. But that was when I could watch like horror type movies like Cat People and stuff like that too. So I wasn't always the perv that I was as a kid. I mean, I was actually up to see cool movies like that and The Exorcist and stuff like that because that stuff came on late. Okay, so I'm just about done with this look. I like this off yellow all over the place. I think another shirt that I'll do one day is just go ahead and leave the outlines on there. Like actually do it in a marker that just keeps those outlines, and then I just do some other outlines in between. Because it's like, I don't know, it just adds a little something to it. Okay. I was worried that I miss people saying stuff. Okay, so there's that. And so I'm just going to thicken up the lines, the outlines, because that really super helps me when I go to paint this. Make this more vibrant. And it also makes it stand out a lot. This is while I'm working on stuff like this on the bus, people see me and they're like, oh, will you draw this for me? Or, will you draw that for me? And I'm like, or I've always wanted this and I've always wanted that. So, you know, it doesn't hurt to take yourself on the road. You know, if you're waiting somewhere, and make sure you bring business cards with you. I have my email address and my YouTube channel on there. So if they want to hit me up, you know, they can send me, we can negotiate and whatnot from there. I don't have my phone number on it. That'll come later when I know that they're serious. Let's see. But yeah, it also is kind of relaxing too, because it's like riding the bus can be kind of boring. You know, and waiting can be boring. Let's see. So I always try to keep myself, or have something with me to keep me occupied. Okay, dun dun dun. Okay. So I got Joker on this side, and I'm going to throw a little... I should have taken this up a little higher. Let's see. Just give it rows and rows. Let's see. I could... Nah, we'll just leave it like Jester looking. Let's bring this down more. All right. And I'll just color that in black. Could have left it purple, but yeah. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so there's my Joker symbol for the day. And then I'm going to keep going with the painting. And on the other sleeve, I think I'll probably do some, let me make my ha-ha-has. Maybe, oh no. I was thinking about making roses, and I'll look and see if there's any, what is it called? Symbol for poison ivy. Like if she had her own comic book, maybe she might have a logo or something like that, so that I might toss on there. Let's see. I want to put Love That Joker in graffiti. Maybe I'll put it around him. I'll see how that goes. Put some more ha-ha-has. Let's see. We'll put it each here. So I'll probably have like some red and yellow ha-has on here. Alrighty, so this one is going to be an easy one. It's pretty quick and fast. Yeah, this one's just pretty much black and white, and I'll have like the red and whatnot, red and yellow ha-ha-has. I could leave it alone and just do the ha-ha-has, maybe light him up with the glow-in-the-dark paint. And I think the glow-in-the-dark paint it goes on clear, and then it'll reveal its color afterwards. There we go. Alright, so that's enough for this right now. And then I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do on the back. Have not decided. I could redo Harley like full body on the back. It's like super plain. This is gonna be one busy shirt, and one day one day I'm gonna come to it and have one simple shirt. It's like simple, super simple. Okay, so here's what it looks like written out or just drawn on the sleeve. Usually when I set it up, I use this part right here as the guide, the center point, and then I pretty much arrange it so that my hoop fits like right here. Again, you'll have to be a little bit wary. I mean, this whole big hoop fit this sleeve, and it will wrap around the arm a little bit. So about right here. So you don't want to pull it too tight, because if you pull it too tight, you know, it'll distort. But if you just do it kind of normal, it'll have like just enough tension to do what you need it to do. You want to kind of leave this part dangling on the bottom, so it'll give it that grip. So you'll have like about 1 inch or 2 inches, maybe a little bit less than that, 1.5 inches of space down here. Okay. So, that's what's going on today, and I truly appreciate you guys coming and taking a peek. And I will see if I can compile all these videos together, the days that it'll take to do these, and just do it in all one big swoop and whip it out into some sort of crazy music. So, have a great one. Be wicked in your neck of the woods. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye. Dexter! Oh, there you are. Oh. Let me see what you say. Have I ever tried using Crayola colored pencils on 50-pound paper? And if so, how did it come out? It was probably dull. I'm trying to remember if my regular drawing paper is 50-pound paper. It came out dull, I guess. Let's see. Typical. But what I really like using is I like using thick paper with the baby oil. Let's see. The new type of Crayola color pencils with the metallic writing on the side does not seem to be as good as the older brand. Huh. I didn't know that. Holy crap. You know, I never noticed. Okay, so these are the, is this the kind of like pencil you're talking about? Like with the metallic? Kind of look like this. And it looked kind of metallic on the side. You know, I didn't realize, because all my stuff is pretty much recent. Like I bought that within the year, past couple years. I did not realize that there was much of a difference. Yeah, all of them seem to have the metallic stamping on it. I guess it would come out okay. Pretty typical. Let's see. I'm wondering. Let's see. I think this might be. I don't think this is 50 pound. I think this is like 20. Let me see if I've got one of my drawing papers nearby that'll give me the poundage. I got time today, cuz. Let's see. Where's my paper? Let me see. Here it is. Go grab it. Like an average type of paper. Let's see. This does not tell me what kind of pound paper this is. It just says it's acid free. Let's see. Well, this is what, oh, you still have the older brand. Of course you do. You're an art supply hoarder, Dexter. You need an intervention. I need to come over there and confiscate all your older stuff that you are just not doing anything with. And, you know, it looks fine, I guess. It looks the same. I don't see anything, this is like with the colored pencils. I don't think I did too much to this. I didn't use any baby oil on it, I don't think. I don't see any, like, blending or anything like that going on. But I think I might have tried to heat it up a little bit. Let me see. You know, I used multiple colors. Let's see. Yeah, I have the nerve to say that other people need an intervention when I'm like swimming in art supplies all around my legs. If I did like a quick show of what's in my room right now, it's all around me right here and right here. It's all colored pencils, fabric markers, fabric paints. They're all in these little boxes. They're all like overflowing, so I have really no right to talk. So, okay, this is the cheap paper, and let me see if I'm still in camera. Okay, let's see. It's funny, one of my screens is bigger than the other, so if I look at one screen, I'm on camera. If I look at another, I'm off. Okay, so I'm looking at what you guys kind of see. The new brand is a bit dull. And I think what they're doing is pushing a lot of their markers, moving into the markers a bit. But I found that if I heat up the paper a bit, they come out a little bit smoother, a little bit faster. Let's see. And I think it just brings a little bit more to the table. Let me see. Let me move this out the way. I gotta put that in my bag. Let me just heat up this a little bit. Let me see. It seems about the same. It seems really super, you know, like regular pencils. They don't seem to bring too much more to the table than they already do. Let's see. This is what I've heated up. Let me see if I can find something that's a little bit that hasn't got the heat on it. Let me hit her arm here. Let's see. Yeah, this is all cold. This is her hand. And just seeing the different areas here. Not much different. You know, and they're mass producing it, and also maybe the time that it's been sitting on the shelf plays a part too. The age of it. I don't know if they age well. Okay, so when it's heated up a bit, I've got a lot more pigment out of it than I did if I didn't have it heated up. Like I'm gonna go ahead and apply the same kind of pressure that I put on the face. Okay, and then let me see, let me do it at this angle here. Yeah, when the paper's a little heated up, I get a lot more pigment tone than I did if it wasn't. And I think you're right. I don't know. It's been a while since I've touched the older pencils. But yeah, if you've got a hairdryer, try heating it up first. Heat the paper up or heat the pencil. And it brings out a little bit more of something. I don't know. Yeah, it's a lot more pigmented when it's warm than if it's not. And it feels a little creamier because it's a little, you know, melted. Not melted, but it's considerably darker here than it is down here. Let me use the side of the pencil here. Really? That you had to get deeper into it? That's a possibility too. That maybe where it starts out, it's not as you know, not as good. But it's nice to hear that you. Well, that's true. You shouldn't, but you can't expect Prismacolor. You can't expect Prismacolor quality out of these guys. You know, they. I don't know. You just can't. And yeah, you shouldn't have to heat it up either. But I do. But I do, Blanche. I do. Yeah. This is pretty therapeutic. Make sure I don't become late. But I think you're right. It's been a while, so it's hard for me to compare the old Crayolas to this the latest ones. But you know, you can get them now for, you know, especially when the kids go back to school, wicked cheap. You know, and get a pretty gosh darn good deal. Now, crayons, on the other hand, I think they stepped up their game as far as the crayons go. I mean, they feel smooth. They feel, especially when it's heated up. I mean, it's amazing what they can do. Not to tell you to go out and buy a whole bunch of cheap art supplies. But let's see. I need this and a blending stump, and then I'm like dangerous. Some of the crayon work that I've done, it doesn't even look like crayons anymore. It looks like a different medium almost. The crap that I do to stuff. But on the cheaper paper, you know, like the sketch paper, if I can find a blending stump. See, I'm tripping over these damn things. Oh, there it is. Knew there wasn't one too far away. Okay. Oh, bend over. Okay. But you're right. You shouldn't have to do that. Let's see. This one's got stuff on it. And do I have anything to clean this stuff off of it? Oh, here's some. Look at me. Whole nother pack of blending stumps. Do I have art supplies around me or frickin' what? I'm telling you, I need to clean my room. I'm going to find some ways to organize these damn things. I mean, they're everywhere. They're all but in my bed. And I'll probably find one wedged between my butt cheeks one day. Because I just need more space. Yeah, but look at how long they've been around, too. And it seems like a lot of products, the longer that they've been around, maybe it improves, maybe it doesn't. If they're the only game in town that does it, you know, they have no, you know, there's no equal. Compared to all the other crayons that are out, like the other bigger brands that are out, they suck compared to Crayola. I mean, they're huge. It's almost like they're the Disney of freaking crayons. You know, give me a second. Just warm up the paper just a little bit. But it comes out pretty well, too. I want to say almost better than the colored pencil. At least, you know, they haven't lost too much of their vibrancy over the years. But I always hated how it would sit on top of the paper and you can always see the tooth of the paper through it. And it just made pictures look kind of meh. You know, and even if you push down on it, it's still, you had to like keep working it in to try to get it to not show the tooth of the paper. So like, yeah, and then you go back to colored pencils and be like, oh man, crayons suck. They're not doing what I want. They're not sitting right, blah, blah, blah. And then you'll never pick up another crayon again. You know, and... But not I. Not I. Says the Kim, who heats up her paper and then puts the crayon down and then does it again and again and again until I get all that tooth covered, and then you know, I beat it into submission or rub it into submission. Yeah, but you know, when you're a kid, you don't have the luxury of having a heat gun next to you. I don't know. Maybe you wouldn't want a kid to have a heat gun. You know, just go back to eating paste. Um, but yeah, I see what you mean. And you would think with overtime quality would improve. You know, technology would improve. But you know, if people are still buying it and all over the world, you know, there's that. It also, I guess, maybe, let's see, your unused art supplies is like a Russian arsenal. You're right. I have plenty, comrade. I have plenty. Oh, man. But yeah, let that one project come, and then, you know, all that stuff is being used. But then again, a new project is another excuse to go out and buy some more fresh stuff. It's like, I can't use this. I, I, I can't do a video with these, or these, or my gosh, I've dipped into this. I can't use this. I need to go out and buy some more. Oh my God, I have. That's only like 3 or 4 things I've lifted up. I've got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I have like 11 more piles of crap that I could possibly lift up, and yeah, I need help. Yeah, because it's an excuse to buy more. It's an excuse to buy more. They do. Oh my gosh, they do. But and it's always when I'm sharpening it, or when I'm like, I don't know. You can't put the pressure on them. But you're right. But they're becoming cheaper to buy too. There's other higher end markers, pencils coming out, and you know they got to step up the game because the other ones are taking over, especially on YouTube. You know, and the results that they give are amazing. The only thing is that they're wicked expensive. You know, if I can go out and pick it up at Walmart for like $19.99 for a tin that used to cost $59.99, you know, yeah, some of them will break on me. Um, yeah, I do like my Prismacolors, and I miss them a bit, especially when I'm coloring in coloring books and stuff. The results that, like the cheapest coloring book, I took this cheapest, brownest. I mean, it's just like frigging cheap. And then I put some Prismacolors to it, and oh my God, they were dancing on that paper. I tried to use Crayola on it, and the crayon's going, not today. You know, and it's hard to believe that they're toxic. That's what gets me, because they've always been touted to being, you know, safe. They always had the non-toxic on the box. They always had, you know, they were always marketed to kids. Back even before they had color on things, you know, everything was still black and white, and they were still doing their thing. I don't know. That's how long they've been around. I don't know, but it's amazing how they got away with it for so long. But they're wax, though. You know, it's well, this is wax, but I don't know. Paraffin wax, wasn't that dangerous anyway in and of itself? Something like that. I can't remember what it was that made it so toxic. Oh, that's okay. I like my kidneys right where they are, and whatnot like that. I like my organs just like they are. My breastises are cancer free and things like that. I like to kind of keep it that way. My breastises, my dirty pillows. Yeah, and cancer's so damn prevalent nowadays. It's insane. Either that or we're just diagnosing it faster. Maybe a combination of both. But it's just, yeah, I guess they work okay on this kind of paper. But heating it up is pretty cool too. Like down here it hasn't been heated, but up there it has. And you almost can't even tell the difference on this kind of paper. They still sell on the old brand on eBay. Now, are they the fat ones like they had little kids use? Gosh, I remember using crayons when I was little. Elementary school, single digit ages and stuff. But it's hard to believe that they're that toxic. They said non-toxic. They said non-toxic. But, you know, regulations and stuff, and air quality and things like that. But, anywho. But, yeah, I guess they work okay on paper. It's just, you gotta work them a little bit more than you usually would have to on other things, I guess. It is made for a dry medium. The lower poundage paper. What's that? What technique? I mean, when I was in school, we had this one project where we had to color super hard with crayons. And we'd layer the crayons, and it's like, oh god, this is so boring, this is so tiring, and you're just layering the crayons on top of each other, and then we'd like scratch it off. And you know, another thing that we never did was mixed media per se, like using colored pencils and crayons, or colored pencils and markers. You know, we always were like straight on with you know, doing our thing. And never got to use, the heating paper technique. Yeah, either heat the paper or heat the pencil. You know, it works really well. I mean, it comes out a lot faster. And you can get different degrees of what is it called? You can make it a little bit darker. You can get a little bit more pigment out of it. Let's see. Let me throw another color on her. This one here is like a chestnut color. If you heat the crayon, you get a lot more. Oh, it's not your style. I hear you. I hear you. But, you know, sometimes you never know. You might change your style. You never know. It may change your religion. It changed mine a bit. It changed mine a bit, because before I was like, same thing with the markers, you know, that I used them, and you know, because they had those challenges and stuff, and I was like, there's gotta be some sort of use I can get out of these things. There's some way that I can make these things worth a damn. You know, because I mean, they sell for cheap, but they had a ton of them out. I'm like, I gotta do something with this. So desperation just led to trying different things, and heating up the crayon was one of them. Heating up the crayon, putting it down, heating it up. And then maybe adding a little bit more. And then using the blending stump. I mean, you can get some really beautiful tones and gradients and stuff doing this. You know, more so than if you just used the crayon just straight on. Even on the lower poundage paper. I mean, I could really do some damage on this. Or the baby oil thing. This decade has been the decade of using the baby oil, because I never used the baby oil either. And but these things are so dry nowadays, except for the crayons. The crayons still keep their little moistness, but I've opened up boxes of colored pencils, and they were so dry you could see white all on the tip and stuff. Like, so I understand why you had to like sharpen it a lot further in order to get to some sort of moisture to it. I don't like using both crayon and colored pencil on top of each other. It's either colored pencil first and then the crayon, because the crayon will scratch off because these goddamn things are so dry. Sorry. So hence the baby oil. Baby oil gives it a little bit more oomph to move around and stuff. And my baby oil's in the bathroom right now. It's like, do not disturb me. I'm doing my thing. But yeah, I also, when I was a kid, I never used multiple colors. I never knew to use at least 3 colors to get some really nice tones. You know, no formal training. You know, crayon training is the way it was. But it's cool that you still have your old ones. Well, actually, they're still doing just fine. I mean, they're still selling their products. They're still diversifying their line. I'm still buying them and creating some really good stuff. I mean, sometimes you just got to give it a chance. They're also revising things, you know, devil's advocate that I am. They've added what is it called? An alcohol marker line. They don't just stick with crayons anymore. They've diversified a lot. They also have the glitter in the crayon. They have crayons that I think they change color or some crap like that. There's crayons of multiple colors mixed together, and then all the crazy toys that go along with all this stuff. I mean, they even have the, what is it called, the marker maker type of thing. So I wouldn't say that they're experiencing a downfall, but with the advent of, you know, YouTube and people using the more higher end things, and kids are seeing that, I think a lot more kids, like when I was working at Michael's, younger and younger, they were coming in wanting Copics, wanting Prismacolors, wanting, you know, and I didn't know nothing about a Prismacolor when I was a kid, you know, or even in my younger ages, my 20s or whatnot. I didn't know anything about those. But yeah, like with the advent of all this stuff that's going on, and even then, traditional artwork is going out the window because people are gravitating more towards the computer. I wish I had that school teacher. I really do. I wish I had that. Because my whole world was in black and white. Because I didn't know the first thing about color. You know, and to the point where I didn't even, you know, I didn't really think that much about it. I saw things in tones and not in, you know, in gradients, but not in tone, and you know, shades of color. Like this would be black, this would be gray, this would be white, and different degrees of grayness and stuff like that. And then I started getting into color, and I'm still learning a lot more. But you don't learn anything if you don't do anything. And nothing's moving on this. Yeah, I think on this type of paper, you just got to give it multiple layers, heat it up, and then you can start moving it around. Yeah, I wish I had this technique when I was younger. I'd be dangerous. I remember Pearls. Pearls was like another Toys R Us for me. I loved that place. And I was heartbroken when I went to go find it and it was gone. I don't know how you run a business like that into the ground, but it just killed me. I jumped on like 2 or 3 different buses to find that place. Or back when I had my car up and running, my Humpty. Oh gosh, I miss pearls. I really do. They were really high end, and I didn't care how expensive it was. I bought it. I miss it. It had virtually anything and everything you could possibly need as a professional. And I never knew that they went out of business. Were they just absorbed by Michaels or Hobby Lobby, or it's just a shame that it's gone. It's just a big shame. It is. It's very sad because they could have gone anywhere. I mean, it's like my pearls would have been. I don't know. I guess like the Dick Blick of today. Had they kept their act together, they could have gone online, sold all over the world, but they didn't. But yeah, I guess on this dry media paper, you just gotta layer it as best you can, and if you can't layer any further, heat it up, rub it in, try to layer it some more. I do get that wax bloom, that where you can see it kind of like glossy looking. It is what it is, but it's still beautiful. I never noticed it before until somebody pointed it out, and I'm like, and so whatever. Pencils do that, and well, this pencil doesn't do that. And I'm like, oh well, gee. But look at how much you got to pay for that. I was watching one YouTuber, and she was coloring with crayons. She'd color hard and then scratch it off, and I'm like, don't do that, don't do that. How do you? My blackness was showing. Yelling at the screen, knowing damn well they can't hear me. And it's like, don't jump down. Oh, I don't know. They were better than Michael's, but they were more geared towards fine arts and not just crafts, or fine arts and crafts and then trying to sell you a slinky, or, how Michael's does. We don't, if we can sell you this, we're going to throw that in there too. But you're right. I think it was more adult oriented too. Michael's had more kid stuff, toys, and and fake flower stuff, and whereas you can go to Pearls and pick up stuff to silkscreen shirts. And not just in like one little area. You had like a big freaking aisle of that stuff. I mean, it was like, wow, until it started kind of declining. Not t-shirt making, but like we used the squeegee and stuff. I guess they were t-shirt making, print making, that sort of thing. But yeah, I agree. I thought it was a lot better than Michael's. Yep. And I only went to Pearls, I think it was only here in Florida that I come across Pearls. No, I'm wrong. I think they were in San Diego as well. But it had been so long since I had been to an art supply store. I don't know. Well, when I went back to try to find Pearls, I just about was in tears. I'm like, how could you? Yeah, I was pretty disappointed. I'm like, I did not authorize this. I'm not okay with this. Okay, so it's about 6:20. Yeah, me too. I wish I could too, but half the stuff would probably kill us nowadays. Cause cancer in laboratory rats and then some. Yeah, I do miss some of that stuff, but this is a great time to be an artist. you've got so much more that's out there for you to touch and learn to play with. I just bought this thing here. It's a hot glue pen where I can make finer designs and stuff. I didn't have that when I was a kid. These fabric paints, definitely didn't have them. I mean, if I would have had them when I was a kid, I would have paint all over everything, intentionally or never. Yeah, oh gosh, yeah. You're right. Texas was pretty decent as far as art supplies. Hobby Lobby. Oh, well, jinkies. Okay, well, I gotta get going, you guys. I'll see you on the morrow. And I'll show you where I'm going with Harley Quinn, or if another thing takes me off of that project and onto something else. But pretty much, I think this week is going to be all about this Harley Quinn shirt, just because I want to finish something. Everything is all in limbo. Some of it is because it just takes so long to fill in with white. Doing the colored shirts are super time consuming because very few of my paints will go on there without some sort of base. I could try painting the shirt first and then just working around it. But anyway, okay, you guys, thanks again for hanging out. Take care, Dexter. You make me yearn for the good old days. Damn it, stop it. Here's what I had for the 20-pound paper, 30-pound paper. This has got to be like 50. I think these are really flimsy and just drawing paper. But anyway, you guys have a great one, and thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Go catch that bus.